Pete Smalley. I'm 106 years old. When I was young, yeah, I first started out when I was 7 years old. My mother learned me how to start putting garden out. And I done that. She showed me. Then after that, why, I know what the garden is, and I started putting out a garden, big garden, every year. And I really enjoyed that. I planted just about everything you could think that you could plant and eat from you raised from the garden. And I really enjoyed that. And everything, what I planted, might as well say about almost everything you could think of. And we eat that. And I even plant some on the side, cantaloupes and watermelons. I plant a lot of them every year too, on the side of our garden. I went to school there at Radom there for a couple of years, and it took us, I imagine, 3/4 of an hour, something like that, walking to the Radom school and church. We stayed there for just about a week there. They had a big boarding house there at Radom, and that's where we stayed there. They gave us the food and everything there. And then on Saturday morning, well, we went and walked back home then. We done that for, it was right close to 2 years. Well, I started working out on my uncle's farm, because his land and my homeland, that all joined together. And I worked for my uncle for off and on every year for a few years. And then after that, why, I started putting out beside my uncle, and I helped the neighbors some, and then I helped my brother to start in farming. Them days when I started in farming, we used horses to work the ground, plow the ground, and do the planting. On the farm there, we farmed quite a bit and everything, and we had all kinds of animals that you could think of there at home. We raised our chickens, hogs, and we farmed with the horses. And we had some 3 milking cows that we milked them by hand, and the milk that we milked, we strained that through there and strained it and everything, and we were saving it, and we'd haul it to Peabody Condenser at Ashley there, and we sold it there to them, and everything went real fine. Them days you milked the cows by hand. We didn't have the to milk or anything. We milked the cows by hand. But that we enjoyed that, and that went real fine. I was 32 years old and everything, and so I went on ahead and met my wife and everything. We talked about getting married, so I agreed. She did too, and I didn't marry my wife till I was 32 years old when I married my wife, and me and my wife lived together. We had 3 kids, 3 girls. One of them was Patty, first name. The second one was Mercedes. And the third one was Dolores. That was it there now. So that was real fine. And me and my wife had been married 62 years. Being married before my wife passed away. When my wife passed away, why, I buried her in Radom Cemetery, and everything went real fine. So I really enjoyed my life and everything, and my wife enjoyed her life while she was still living. So the first car that after we got married, me and my wife, my mother bought me a car. And me and my wife, then we drove that car to Benton Harbor, Michigan, and we got a job there. We worked there for, quite a while. Well, the whole fall of the year there. And everything was fine. And so then my wife's dad got me a job in Mount Vernon at the J.P. Devine there in car shop. And so I quit my job in Benton Harbor, Michigan, and come and started working for J.P. Devine in the car shops. And I started doing that. And everything went really beautiful, real fine. And then I got the city of Mount Vernon. They wanted me to work if I wanted to work for the city, because they know that I could do the kind of work that they needed. So I done that. I worked for the city there for quite a while, and I was the best guy they had. As far as they know they ever had, because I could do all that work. As you see, it was all catch basins, curbs and gutters and sidewalks, and I was the first guy in the street department that operated a backhoe, and I really enjoyed that. And when I retired from the city, I worked with some of the guys that have been talking about hunting for, try to find oil wells and hire the people to drill the wells, and we had oil. But first, this one guy that told me about the oil wells, how to find them, and you build a thing that you use in your hands, and then that would work where there's oil, same as it would work some spots where there was real strong water. So I did find some oil wells, a few of them pretty nice. When I worked for the city, there's something there I forgot to tell you a while ago. But I was the oldest guy that's ever worked for the city of Mount Vernon. And I had the electricity them days when I was a kid yet. So we had ladders and pumps. Let me see, we had ladders and lamps. We had lamps. And we used kerosene oil there to burn in them for our lights. So we done that till it got bigger. Then we finally got the electricity run through. We could use electricity for the lights, and we used it for other stuff too. We them days we had wooden stoves, heating stoves to make heat out of the wood stove, and for the cook stove, we cooked everything in our wood stove in the kitchen. That wooden stove in the kitchen had a big oven on it, and that's where my mother could cook anything you'd want in that oven, in that wooden stove. And we had plenty of timber, we had plenty of wood, everything to use that for cook. Out in the woods there, people made a lot of stuff out in the woods, and we did have a plenty of wooden stove for make a fire and everything, and we did make a batch of whiskey and everything, and we'd make that whiskey, and we would drink a little bit of it, and when we left that woods there home, we left some of that whiskey in one bucket out there in the woods there. And we forgot about it. There was a big cow pasture, our animal pasture. So me and Leo, my cousin, we went home, and when we come back the next day, that cow drank some of that whiskey out of that bucket, and she was kind of walking a little knobbly. She had quite a bit of that whiskey in it, and that was something there, that big surprise for us to see. Well, now otherwise, everything else went fine. Me and my wife, when we got married, it was about a week later, I asked my wife what side of a bed that morning we was ready to get up. What side of a bed did she get up out of the bed? And she said the right side. And I told my wife then that the way I got out of my bed is it was the outside. Outside. That's the only way you can get up. So that was it. I used to make a few little jokes now and then, and them stuff. Everything went out real fine. There one day, I asked a person if he had breakfast that morning. He said, yeah. And I asked him, I said, what hand did you use to eat that breakfast? With right hand or left hand? And he said he ate his breakfast with right hand. And so I now told him, I said, you want to know how I ate my breakfast? He said, what kind? How did you eat it? I said, I ate my breakfast with my mouth. I said, the hand is the feeder and your mouth is the eater. Whenever I was 9 years old, my mother had a doctor that she was serving with, and she talked, my mother, a lot of times she'd tell a few jokes too and everything, and that doctor told my wife, he said the more jokes the people tell, good clean jokes, the more people tell like that, he said that's healthy for them. That's good for their health, and they live longer and do better. So that was the finest thing I ever heard. About my life today, I'm well satisfied. I feel just as good right now as I did whenever I was 20 years old. And everything went real fine.